Hello everybody and welcome back to Drumard Farm. So in this episode we're going to be doing something different. This is not the interactive episode where we do the requested job. That is actually next time because there hasn't been enough votes entered just yet. But what we're going to do is, well, initially we're going to go over to field 14. But we do need to take over a cultivator and also a potato planter. Well, actually no, we may not need to have a cultivator. We're going to have to see. But we're definitely going to have to buy a potato planter and take that over there. Now you definitely do have to cultivate the field before you do this. However, because there is contracting enabled on this map, we may be able to do this and get paid for it using somebody else's machine, which would be very good, but unlikely. But we'll see. Hopefully we will be able to. Now field 14, we don't even own. The idea here is to push the price of it down and get paid for doing jobs which we'd have to do anyway if we owned it. So there should be a turning somewhere on the left here which goes up to field 14. Yes, here we go. So we'll head up here first, we'll buy the potato planter later. I've had so many requests to do potatoes. Now in Wexcombe Manor Farm I did potatoes and it became a very long-winded job. So that's why I've chosen a much smaller field. We don't actually have to do many potatoes at all. In fact, there is a mod to just buy a crate of potatoes to use as feed if we need to for the pigs. So yeah, we're not going to go over the top here. Anyway, the first job is to do some fertilising using this CLAAS, what is it, an ARION? Yeah, ARION. It says it here. Very nice tractor. So I'll get it all attached. This is the ARION which we used in Colborough Park Farm, which actually turned out to be a pretty good tractor. It was just lacking a few little textures. It's better from the outside than it is the inside. It does have to be said. But either way, it's not bad. I always do this. PTO shaft. Right, off we go. We have just over 6 minutes to do this first job. I'll do most of it off screen anyway, and well, it usually takes about half the amount of time, so probably 2 to 3 minutes to do this entire field. It isn't a big field, but if this is going to be potatoes, which it is, just to plant them with the smallest planter can take quite a long time. So we're not going to go crazy. We do have to be very careful here. That is, as I've said before, a really good thing about contracting. You can use all kinds of different tractors, you don't have to be limited to the ones we've got. Because the only other way of doing it, to use different brands, is to keep buying new tractors. And that's going to become really boring very quickly, because we'd always be replacing the tractors and it would just seem so unrealistic. And in fact we wouldn't even be able to afford it. It would just be so expensive. In real life it would be unheard of. No farmer would change their tractor every episode, well, every day. Oh yes, it's an episode. Yeah, an episode is basically a day. And it would just be really weird. A new tractor every day. Very nice, but very weird. And very expensive. Okay, so we are almost there, as you can see. Way over 2/3. So we're just finishing off, and in fact we may not have to come back and get the rest of it. This should be enough. Hopefully. There's a tiny bit in the corner. But the next job is going to be to cultivate this, so hopefully we can do it in the contracting. It's going to be a pretty small tractor to use though. We may have to plough it first. It could be ploughing and then cultivating. But the best way of looking at it is you get a very worked field, very nice soil, and also you get paid for it, and we get to use other people's machinery. So we win here, and the owner of the field is going to definitely lose because they're about to sell it to us. Oh no! Only 2 minutes left. Good job, we've almost finished. That should be enough. There we go, that's got it. So £2,169 plus 439. Nice little bonus there. Oh, it's chosen the John Deere. But it has chosen the subsoiler, which is a very nice mod, very well made, but very small. John Deere with a plough. Oh yes, it's essentially choosing ploughs here. That looks good. This one here. Just realised the Massey Ferguson's engine is still running. That could be costly. Get that hitch on the back and let's go. So this time it's going to be slower. It's a 20-minute job. We should be able to get it done in 12 minutes maybe. Tractor seems to be doing a bit of speed, so it shouldn't take too long at all. Keep at it, but it is very likely that this is going to have to be worked with the cultivator. But then, that will be our opportunity to buy the field at a reduced rate. Then we can buy a potato planter and get it all planted. The aim of this video is to finish this field. So we're quarter of the way there in, well, 5 minutes, over. So theoretically, we should fail this mission. I'm doing it so slowly. I don't know why. I seem to be doing it as fast as I can do, but it's not enough. Maybe I need to think of a new strategy. Be more unrealistic. No, that's a bad one. No, it needs. I just continue. If we fail, we fail. I just have to do it again, which is going to be frustrating. Got to go as fast as we can do. Now this field is quite interesting. I'm not sure quite how the contracting works, but you see the progress circle at the top right hand side of the screen. Basically, it seems to jump quite a bit. It's not like a sudden jump. It does do it. It's gradual, but at quite a rate. So yeah, what we're gonna have to do is watch it in a second, and for some reason, somewhere in this top end of the field, it suddenly fills up really quickly. So where I was before, I was saying, oh no, I've only done like a quarter of it in 5 minutes. It shouldn't actually matter, because I think it's going to suddenly, in fact it's filling quite quickly now, it's just going for it. And I can only imagine it's going to get even faster, because look at it, it's like, what's that, about 2/3. And I suppose we have done about 2/3, but it looks like a bit more. Really? So, yeah, I'm not sure how it works exactly. Yeah, it's going at quite a rate now. Filling up fast. Okay, we're very close to the end. We may have to turn around again and do a bit more, but let's just see. In fact, this is quite a hard place to get to, because obviously we have to turn with the plough. Not ideal. No, it's going to require just a tiny bit more. Shouldn't take too long. Okay, a very noisy plane. Come on, take it. The faster it takes it, the more money we get. There we go. So yeah, it's not a bad amount of money either. It is definitely going up. Now, it should be cultivating. It is. Something bigger than this would be good. Okay, it wants to use the same one every time, 17 minutes roughly. The Cultimer seems to be the one of choice there. Or the Quality Disc Farmer 3000, which is wider. I have no idea. Well, they must be very similar, because the time they're giving us is pretty much identical. So, let me just pick a vehicle. Right, that'll do. So we're using the Fendt 300 VARIO. We've used a wide range of machinery today so far, with a black coloured front weight, which is customisable. Let me just lift that up. Okay, it doesn't have any front weight on it. You have to actually adjust it here. I'll do that in a second. It's actually the first time I've used this front weight. This may take some time. Right. We may not actually need a weight. Let me just see. Yeah, so to add a disc you have to press Z. and see it fills it up. I think we'll be alright with... I mean, how do you remove one? X. We're okay with just a few. That'll be fine. Now this is actually faster than ploughing, however, I don't think it's as wide. It's very similar, but it doesn't seem to be quite as wide. So once again, I'm going to disappear, then reappear, near to the end of the field. I've just realised the ploughing furrows which we did have turned around. They're all going the other way. That's because even if you do the work, it still adjusts it later to how it suits it. So if you miss a bit, it'll complete it for you. Anyway, see you in a second when we get very close to the end. Right, so we have, well, about 8 minutes left, but it won't take that long. We have got to do just this little side of the field, and then we'll be done, and then we'll be able to buy the field, which will save us a bit of money because we've already done some work for this particular farmer. It isn't going to be much, but really, it's going to help. Like £3,000 it'll probably be. That's quite a bit when you think about it. But when it's in terms of the amount of money these fields in Farming Simulator cost, it is next to nothing. But anything off is going to help us. So yeah, we'll buy the field, then we'll jump into the Massey Ferguson, go down to the store, buy the potato planter. I don't really know whether to buy the big one or the small one. I think maybe the bigger one, because even that one is fairly small, and planting potatoes is a fairly long-winded job anyway. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. Having said that though, the way that Farming Simulator does potato planting is not really very realistic. In fact, it's probably the most unrealistic crop they've got in the game, because in actual fact you have to do quite a bit more. There is a lot of preparation for the soil itself before you can go and just plant the potatoes in, whereas we're just cultivating the field and putting the potatoes straight in. So yeah, it'd be good if the potato side of things could be improved in the future in a different version of this game. But yeah, I mean, it works. The harvesting's fine. It's just the planting process. Stone separators. That would be a very good thing to have. Also some bridges. So it could definitely be improved. Always room for improvement. This is pretty much going to finish the job. I like that you don't have to do it all. It sounds lazy, but having to go back for everything can be a bit slow. Although the same thing has happened again. Same thing as when we were ploughing. We have to go back up here just to finish it off. Shame really. I do like this tractor. It'd be nice to have one of these. Front weights especially. Is that going to do it? Should do. Bit more money for us. Okay, so with that all done and out of the way, we can now buy the field at £60,000. That actually seems pretty good. So buy. The reason why we can't do any more work for them is because they wanted to plant some seed with a seeder. We're actually going to plant potatoes, so that's as far as we can go. Also, it isn't a very big field for something like wheat or barley, but it is a big field for potatoes. So let's go down there. You can see the store from here. It's going to set us back a little bit, but I'm quite surprised about the price of that field actually. I thought it was more like 100,000. These fields do cost quite a bit. Now I've had many suggestions also to turn the currency in this map to euros from pounds, but is it like FS15 where you have to keep changing it for each map, or does it save that currency for the map? Because if it does, it would be good. But if it isn't, then I'm going to keep forgetting, and then suddenly Sandy Bay is going to be in euros as well, and it's going to all become very confusing. I suppose all I can do is try it. Let's park here. Potato planting. I'm creeping backwards again. Does it come under sewing machines? Yes, it does. So it's gonna. That's the small one. It's gonna be. Just wondering, are there any new ones? There aren't, are there? Don't think so. No. The Coon DLC didn't seem to add any. Anyway, it's this one here. Let's buy this at £58,000, so almost the same price as the field. We could have leased it, but I'm really against leasing on this map. We have the money. Actually, is that... Have I ever... I don't recognise this machine. Have I ever used it before? This was in the base game, wasn't it? Was it? Okay, I'm very confused. It looks very different to usual. Interesting. When was this machine added? If anybody knows... Oh, I've just crashed into a hedge. Please do let me know. Not a good start, is it? I've got, what, 10 feet out of the buy point there at the dealership, and I've just crashed the new machine. They would be absolutely laughing their socks off in there, in the dealership. Tractor just turns up, a farmer turns up, pick up their really expensive £58,000 potato planter, then dumps it into a hedge. I think that would probably meet the headlines, to be honest. That's just embarrassing. Anyway, yeah, let's go over to the farm. We'll fill it up with potatoes. You can actually do it from the seed refill point, which is quite helpful. And, oh, this thing actually takes fertiliser as well. Interesting. Oh, we're getting close. So slow, these cars. I'm hoping this is going to be enough horsepower for it. What is this, a 7719? Yeah, it should be. It's about a 250 horsepower tractor, is it? I'm not sure. Maybe 220-ish. Yeah, the seed refill point. Let me re-find it. I think it's down here on the left-hand side. There we go. So we need this one here, which is the fertiliser. And once it's full, we'll crawl forwards and fill it up with the potatoes. Should be able to see them appearing. It's going to take quite a few, but because I've never used this machine before, I don't think, it's going to be a new experience. I don't know how fast it's going to plant, or how wide it is in fact. Definitely unfolds, so it should be much wider than this. Wow, this thing is taking a long time to fill. I do not want to see the cost of these potatoes. Ready? It should appear. Maybe we have to move forward. Oh dear. We could have just bought some. I ran over chicken. That's fairly expensive. Although these should last for many fields. We're not going to use all this in one field, I hope. That makes the fertiliser look incredibly cheap. You would have thought the potatoes would be the cheap thing and the fertiliser would be the expensive thing, but clearly not. Quite a bit different. Although we have got 8. Ouch. There is no contact there. Try and prove that to the insurance company. Yeah, I was going to say we've got about 8,200-ish litres of potatoes and only 800 litres of fertiliser. So the fertiliser probably is more per litre. So here we are, a brand new field at the end of here. Let's get this thing unfolded and see what it can do. It should be quite impressive. 860, maybe that is the width, 8.6 metres? Maybe. Right, so here we go. Please unfold a bit further. It is doing. Ah, it's like a transformer. Very nice. So off we go. This should, in theory, be much faster than doing the cultivating and ploughing because it's much wider and we're doing a fairly similar speed. Well, 2 or 3 miles an hour left, but look at this. That's looking good. Very good. Now I'm just a little bit concerned about the end here. You can see that the edge of the field is very close to the boundary of the map. So being able to turn around at the end with the harvester could be a bit of an issue. I suppose what we could do is just run down here, then take the headland off first. Yeah, we'll have to really. We'll have to plant it all because otherwise we're going to be wasting quite a bit of the field. The other concern is how tight we are turning. Let me just set this thing up because this is going to do much better than what I can do. You can see it's going to fit in here, so let's set it off on GPS. Perfect. Looking good. So as you can see, when you tell it to turn left or right, it's just going to miss one, which is actually better. It means you don't have to turn quite as tight in any way. If you did turn too tight, I suppose you could damage something. Is it running off PTO? No. It must be hydraulics then, I assume. Unless I've just forgotten to attach the PTO. But no, it shouldn't work. I don't think it would work if I'd forgotten. Nothing else does. We could put the markers down if we wanted to, but with GPS it's not really necessary. So we'll keep them up. Very close to the end now. This is going very well as well. Let me just see exactly how much we're consuming. Well, so far we've taken about 29% of the potatoes, 30%. So that's good. It means we're going to have quite a few left over for another field. If it had cost us about £13,000 or £14,000 just for this field, then it wouldn't be very impressive because, as we know, potatoes aren't worth a great deal. They're worth quite a bit to us because we can feed them to the pigs, but to sell, no. Not really worth it at all. You've really got to hit a great demand if you want to be doing potatoes in a big scale. That would be quite impressive actually. Has anyone ever dedicated their farm on Farming Simulator just to potatoes? Have you planted every single field as potatoes? If you have, you either have a lot of patience or a lot of workers. I'm guessing a lot of workers, because planting potatoes is quite a slow job. If you had maybe 10 of these things going in the same field, then you'd get it done in no time. But yeah, this is a big machine for a potato planter, and this is a small field. If it was a big field, it would be taking quite some time. But I'm adamant to do something impressive in field 20 in Sandy Bay when we get onto multiplayer. Like plant it all with willows or something. No, not willows. I wish you could do willows. No, it's poplars, isn't it? Yeah. If you could do it all with poplars, that would be impressive. But it's a very slow job. I think the tractors do about 2 or 3 miles per hour when planting. So yeah, that'd be a good afternoon with 25 tractors. That's for sure. That field must not be underestimated. It's absolutely gigantic. I've just turned off GPS. We should be able to manage it on our own now. There's just a tiny bit left here. So we'll lift up, then head down there. But we can't really follow the curve of the field, because otherwise it's going to make it really hard to harvest. At least it would do in real life. So we'll keep it as straight as possible here and stop it just short when the front of the planter hits the grass. So about there. Perfect. So that is our potato planting done. That is quite a lot of progress in one episode, because remember at the beginning of this it was still a harvested field of, I think it was canola. So we have spread slurry in there, which should have given us some fertiliser, hopefully. We have also ploughed it, cultivated it, and finally potato planted it. So let me just see the fertilising map just to see, and hopefully it looks quite impressive. Yeah, so it's on stage number 2, what I can gather. We're going to take this back to the yard, the one closest to us, and then we're going to call it a day. It's not a bad bit of work done there, even if it isn't totally neat. So as usual, we're going to do the requested vote next time. There'll be no vote in this video, but the winning vote from last time is what we'll do next time. Oh, look at this. I've hit rush hour. I always hit rush hour, and these cars are on a go slow. Right, back to the yard. Surprising how dirty the planter got just in that very short period of time. Ah, now the livestock. We've got a very big trailer here. I think really we're focusing mainly on cows and on the sheep. So what we should do at some point is sell the pigs. Well, not all of them obviously, because obviously they won't be able to reproduce, but if we sell some of them, that's what they're there for really. We are fattening them up to sell, then that could be the best option for us. The sheep are just there, living away, producing their wool, and the cows are there to do their milk. Obviously you can sell cows as well for meat, but we're not going to. Right, so there we go. That is it for another episode. Thank you for watching, hopefully you've enjoyed it. Until next time, I'll see you again very soon. Bye for now.